great fun film to do, and exhausting, as you said.
For the record, The Great Race runs 150 minutes. That was Jack Lemmon, who's just left a triumph on Broadway in tribute and will star in China Syndrome, and my guest in the Lion's Den. I'm Jeffrey Lyons.
Chicago's weather for the remainder of tonight, cloudy with rain likely, changing to snow during the early morning hours, the low around 30 degrees. For tomorrow, snow ending, and Weather Command says we could see an accumulation of between 1 and 2 inches. Our present reading downtown, 39 degrees. That same reading at O'Hare, Midway, 42.
Give to the Wreath of Hope. Send your contributions to Bell Federal Savings, Monroe and Clark Street, Chicago 60603. News Radio 78, WBBM, Chicago.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome. Doubly welcome this special eve, of course. If you look in Webster's dictionary under the word miracle, you can read the definition, an event or effect contrary to the established order of things. A wonder or a wonderful thing. This is the story of a miracle that took place at Christmas time, the very best of all possible times for miracles. And it begins with an ad which has appeared for 10 years in the Dawson City Times and the Thomasville Courier.
We'll begin the advertisement with, if the owner of a Santa Claus suit rented to Jennifer Swallow will present his copy of the receipt to me, Jasper Crown, he will be
Oh, you'd have to include your address and your phone number, etc.
Of course, Jenny, we'll include that. He will be remunerated to whatever degree he asks, up to $1 million. Does that seem fair?
Oh, it isn't fair. It's silly. The rental was less than $1. Why should it be worth any more than that?
Maybe you'll never know, but I will. And everyone else who hears this story will know.
Our mystery drama, A Very Private Miracle, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Howard Da Silva. It is sponsored in part by Sign-Off, the sinus medicines. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Sinus flares up.
I'm clogged up, headaches, my whole face hurts. Help!
Send for Sign-Off. Sign-Off helps relieve your pain, helps clear congestion, ease sinus pressure and postnasal drip. Sign-Off does it all. Send for Sign-Off. And for the fastest known form of congestion relief, Sign-Off Spray, S-I-N-E-O-F-F. Sign-Off. The sinus medicines in the bright red box. Is here. For occasional use only as directed.
In 1921, Dr. Banning and Dr. Best discovered that insulin prolongs life for diabetics. Their discovery has enabled countless millions of diabetics to lead almost normal, productive lives. But unfortunately, insulin does not cure diabetes. It's time to cure diabetes, and it's time we all help. If you can give help or need help, call your local American Diabetes Association. I'm Gerald Ford. I thank you.
If you've decided this is the year to give a fabulous fur for Christmas, choose from one of the largest, most exciting collections in all America at York Furrier of Elmhurst. We all know there are vast differences in fur, differences in quality, styling, and price. So most people rely on the experience and reputation of the furrier for guidance in selecting the perfect gift. Perhaps that's why smart Santas have depended on York Furrier for almost half a century. York's master craftsmen have a love for their business that shows in every fur creation. York Furrier invites you to visit the wonderful world of fur and choose from over 2,000 beautiful designs, including one of the largest selections of men's furs in all America. And, of course, they offer full exchange privileges. York Furrier at 107 North York Road in Elmhurst. Now with special holiday hours. Weekdays 9 till 9, Saturday 9 till 5:30. York Furrier, the finest furrier in the world. This is a story of a very special time.
and a very special love affair between a bright and artless 10-year-old and a bitter, soured man who made himself old before his time. But however it ends, it begins with hate.
What was that, Arthur?
A rock through the window. That's an ugly mob outside.
Yeah, no goods, inadequates, ingrates.
Because you've taken their livelihood away from them.
My livelihood as well. I can't go on losing money with the mill. Since Robert walked out on me, I don't need any more.
But Thomasville does. Good Lord, it's the only real industry we have left to keep the town alive.
Are you my lawyer or theirs?
You know whose lawyer I am.
My friend or theirs?
That's a question which gets more and more difficult to answer. Jasper, it's Christmas. And Robert had good ideas for the mill.
I don't want to hear any more about the mill or about Robert, my son, or my daughter. Most of all, I don't want to hear about Christmas. That cheap, tawdry, pagan celebration. There, at last. The riot squad. They'll break up that no-good rabble. That's my Christmas present to them. Finally, the police have dispersed them. Cowards all. The mob has no courage.
Well, what are you going to do about the window?
Close the room off. Heaven knows there are enough other rooms for me to wander through alone since I've been deserted by my family.
Well, that's scarcely fair to Emily.
Emily? Did I once really have a wife? Was there some warmth in this house?
While my sister lived.
Well, she's dead. Too many years ago for me to want to count. There's no one left but my housekeeper and me. At least Mrs. Murchison hasn't deserted me, as you want to. Go then, Arthur, go. It's safe now. The papers are all signed.
Well, I won't execute these till after the holiday.
The day after Christmas.
The day after Christmas is Sunday, so I can't do anything till Monday.
Very well, but the execution is signed, sealed, and delivered. When I sell the mill, I'll be not a millionaire, but a multi-millionaire. Or do you mean that crowd of hicks the police just chased away? You think I'm frightened of them?
Oh, I didn't mean physically, and I didn't mean concerned either. I mean terrified for your immortal soul. Oh, don't trouble. I'll let myself out. Oh, Mrs. Murchison, if I don't see you again before the great day, Merry Christmas.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Daly.
Who was on the phone, Mrs. Murchison?
Oh, such good news for you, sir. It's little Mary herself.
What did she want?
Sure, she's still on the phone waiting to tell you herself.
I have no wish to talk to my daughter.
Ah, but when you hear her news...
What news?
Well, she wanted to tell you herself.
If she's leaving that damn foreigner and coming home alone, I'll talk to her. Otherwise, go and hang up.
Without listening to what she has to say?
There's only one thing I want to hear from her. An apology.
Oh, you're not going to talk to Miss Mary?
No.
I wanted to save the news for her to give you. Oh, but now, sure, I have to say it myself. It's a baby she's going to have. She wanted you to know you're going to be a grandfather.
No, some penniless foreigner. No, thank you. You can tell Mrs. Blumenthal it won't work. She's still as completely cut out of my will as her brother. When you hang up the phone, you can bring me a cup of tea. I'll be in the library.
Oh, the good Lord favor me and put the words in my mouth. Mary, sweetheart, forgive me for being gone this long.
Well, that's all right, Murch, honey. Is Dad there?
Well, Mother, and to tell you the truth, he's after having a little bit of a lie down, and,
Well, it's all right. I know what he's lying down on. Any reconciliation with me. I thought maybe the time of year and the baby. Did you tell him about the baby?
well, I didn't want to. I wanted it to be your surprise, but,
Okay. Forget it. I get the whole picture. Maybe I knew before I tried again. Now I know it's hopeless. Merry Christmas to you, Murch, love, anyway. And a Happy New Year.
Oh, Mary, my darling. Oh, what's the use? How long can you fight? If he just wasn't so stubborn. If only Mr. Crown could forget himself and accept someone else into his heart.
Come in.
It's your tea, Mr. Crown.
Oh, thanks. Just put it on the table.
Yes, sir.
Well, was there something else?
Yes, Mr. Crown. This next Christmas would be my 25th that I've served your family.
Oh, in heaven's name, spare me the Christmas spirit. It's choking me.
Well, it's choking some of the rest of us, too, Mr. Crown. Everyone has a limit. You're not alone in that. I've just been talking to Mary, and I've lived through a long, difficult time in your family. I'm giving my notice.
Before dinner?
I honestly don't care if you ever eat again, or live. I just have time to catch the next bus. I'll send someone else to clear out everything that's left of mine in this house. I want no part of it, or you, ever again.
A little while later, the front doorbell rang. With Mrs. Murchison gone, Jasper was tempted not to answer it. But when it rang again, some secret urgency drew him down the long corridor. On the walk, he winced. His elbow pained him, and the arthritis in his right leg jumped and sent shivers. Every ache and pain he had ever known seemed to assail him, till the magic moment he opened the door and saw, standing on the stoop, her freckles burning bright in her snow-white face, her pigtails stiff in the icy wind, Jennifer. And even though he didn't realize it, magic was upon him.
Yes? Who are you?
Jennifer Swallow.
What are you doing on my doorstep?
If you please, Mr. Crown, I'm freezing to death.
You came here of your own free will? What do you want?
I have a business proposition to put to you.
Not interested.
How do you know if you haven't heard it yet?
Don't be rude. You're talking to your elders.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to be rude. I'm just anxious.
Anxious about what?
My proposition. What I want to talk to you about.
All right, what is it?
I'm too cold to tell you here. My father says that no gentleman keeps a lady waiting.
You're no lady, you're just a child.
And you're no gentleman. You're a
what?
You're a kind man who's going to offer me shelter.
Very well, before we both freeze to death. Come in.
Thank you. You shouldn't have let me in, you know.
But you weren't.
Get in. My father says you should never let a salesman get his foot in the door.
Are you a salesman?
Oh, no. It's just an expression, you see. In a manner of speaking, so to speak.
What is it you want, young lady?
My name's Jennifer.
Jennifer. I'm not interested in names. All I want to know is what your business is here.
Shouldn't we go into the parlor?
No.
You're kind of old. I thought you might want to sit down.
Well, maybe I'd better.
It would be much cozier.
Very well, then. Follow me.
Even though it is quite cold, it's very nice weather for this time of year.
What?
I'm just making conversation. My father says...
I don't believe it.
Believe what?
I don't believe your father ever gets a word in edgewise with you around. All right. It's warm in here in the library. There's a fire. You can sit over there on the other side of the fireplace.
Thank you. So many books.
A lot of knowledge in the world if you young folks would take time to pick up some of it. Now, Miss Jennifer, just what is it you want?
Well, it's at the church, you see. Nobody is working this year on account of you closed the factory down.
You blame me for that?
Oh, no. I mean, that's your business, of course. But it meant somebody had to do something special. About Christmas, I mean.
I might have known it. Sending a child here to blink her innocent eyes at me. Who put you up to this? Who sent you here to ask for money?
No one. I just wanted...
Don't lie. For a moment, you almost fooled me, young lady. But I might have known there was something behind this. There is, isn't there?
Well...
What is it? Present for the church?
Oh, no. I already won those. So win the booty.
You what?
I said I already got those from Win the Booty. You know.
No, I don't know. What is Win the Booty?
It's on television. Don't you watch it?
I don't have a television set.
Oh, it's fun. The man asks you questions, you see. and then you have to answer them.
And that's what you did?
Of course. Why are you so surprised?
I'm just amazed that you didn't ask him most of the questions. So you won some prizes, eh?
Oh, scrumptious ones. So you see, we don't need you for that.
You don't say. Well, what do you need me for?
Well, see, the presents are to be handed out tomorrow night at Christmas Eve. And we have no Santa Claus to do it. I wanted you for that.
Of course. Because I'm rich and you thought that I might bring some extra presents.
That wasn't it at all.
Somebody else had an idea you should come here and ask me?
No, sir. This was my own idea.
Really? Just what's the matter with the guy who knows all the answers?
Who?
Your all-wise father.
Oh, he isn't here this year.
What's keeping him so busy?
A first-class son of a gun.
A what?
His superior officer. My father's in the Navy. Both of them are.
Who?
My father and the first-class son of a gun. That isn't exactly what he called him, but I promise not to repeat the other.
I see. Well, if it can't be your father, what's the matter with your minister?
Nothing.
I mean, as Santa Claus.
Oh, too skinny and too serious. He never understands a joke. He's really an old stick.
But what on earth would make you think of me, child? You don't just want me to be Santa Claus. You have an ulterior motive.
What's an ulterior motive?
You want me to do something else, don't you?
Oh, that. Of course.
You admit it.
Oh, sure. We don't have a budget for the Santa Claus suit. So I thought if you'd be him, you could afford to rent it. Where are you going?
I'm opening the door for you to leave, Jezebel.
My name isn't Jezebel.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. Just keep heading for the front door.
Then you won't be Santa Claus?
I'm afraid I'm not the type.
You could be just perfect if you'd let yourself go.
I wish I could believe that.
Oh, couldn't you?
Only one way I could.
Well, how's that?
You get me the Santa Claus suit, and if you still want me, I'll be your Santa Claus.
Honest to Pete?
Honest to Pete.
Well, I'll try. But it's going to take a miracle if I do.
You know, I wouldn't put it past you.
Jasper Crown remained with his hand on the door. One part of him congratulating himself for having resisted that elfin charm. The child was just trying to use him and his wealth, as people always were, egged on by her elders, no doubt. But another part of him, lonely and forgotten and rusty with disuse, cried out for her return, for a miracle. I'll return shortly with Act Two.
Here's a tip from your Better Business Bureau. Are you in the market for a used car? If you are, it would be wise to shop around until you get a feel for the market. It's important for you to find out if the car is covered by a warranty. A used car warranty is limited. For example, it may cover the first 1,000 miles or 30 days. Remember, however, the warranty is as good as the dealer who backs it. And you check his reliability with your local Better Business Bureau. Also, remember that careful inspection is the key to enjoying a used car. Be sure and look for rust. Check the tires, the shock absorbers, and the operating controls. And incidentally, it's also a good idea to take a test drive. You see, by giving the car the once-over before you buy it, you're protecting yourself against a faulty purchase and a lot of headaches after you've bought it. This has been a tip from your Better Business Bureau.
Something good is
about to happen. It's Christmas time at South Lake Mall. For you.
It's Christmas time at South Lake Mall, one of the largest malls anywhere. And not just because you'll find over 135 stores and 6,000 fully lit parking places. South Lake Mall is a giant when it comes to savings. You'll find Christmas specials galore. And wait till you see the way they've decorated the mall and the stores. A Christmas wonderland. So this year, do all your Christmas shopping at South Lake Mall. Your friends do.
Something good is about to happen. It's Christmas
time for you.
Make your Christmas shopping fun and easy. Shop at South Lake Mall, I-65 and US 30, Maryville.
Never underestimate the power of Jennifer. That night, Jennifer broke open her piggy bank and counted her capital, $2.23. The following morning, she bought a return trip ticket on the bus to Dawson City, which cut into her budget to the tune of $1.62. Once she got there, she set her jaw and started to comb the city. It was well after lunch when suddenly the freckles were dancing across her nose and her pigtails vibrating with delight. For there, just as she told herself there had to be, was a sign saying, Santa Claus suits for rent, dirt cheap. The proprietor was a wonderful man with a jolly round face and bristling white eyebrows and a shock of snowy white hair. As Jenny said afterwards, she almost wished he might be persuaded to come and play Santa Claus.
But that's really a silly idea. He lives too far away.
I beg your pardon, miss.
Did I say something?
There are only two of us here, and I didn't say anything, so I think it must have been you.
There I go again, thinking out loud. You couldn't, could you? Or didn't I think that part out loud?
What part?
About wanting you to come and be Santa Claus in Thomasville at our church tomorrow evening.
Oh, I'm afraid I couldn't. Some other people are expecting me.
Oh.
But I can rent you a suit, you know, a Santa Claus suit. Do you see one that you like?
Well, there are so many. What's this one made of?
Ah, red velvet with ermine trim. You like it?
It is nice. How much would it cost to rent it?
Well, now, that's a very handsome suit and quite cheap at the normal rental of $100.
$100?
Too much?
Oh, much too much.
Well, now, how much were you thinking of?
61 cents?
61 cents, eh? Now, isn't that a coincidence? As a matter of fact, right down beneath the counter here, I may have just the thing up. Ah, yes, here we are. Now, let's see. Boots, belt, hat, pants, and a tunic. And, of course, the whiskers to go with it. And the price happens to be just right. On the nose, as the saying goes. 61 cents.
It is pretty old and tattered.
Yes, it is. Seen a lot of use. I have to admit it isn't in the best of repair. But it's the genuine thing.
Well, it is pretty ratty. But I'll take it. After all, the price is right. And the kids who are going to see it won't notice the condition. Because to tell you the truth, these days our clothes are pretty ratty, too.
Well, righty-o. I'll wrap it all up. And while I'm getting it ready, you can sign your name right here.
What's that for?
Well, I'd like to get this suit back. You might be surprised, but sometimes I have a little trouble. This way, if you shouldn't return it, any time I want to claim it, I'll have proof that it's mine.
Oh, now why doesn't Mrs. Murchison answer that bell? Oh, of course I forgot. She's gone. Oh, rotten tarnation. I have to answer it myself, I suppose. I'm coming, damn it, I'm coming. Oh. Well, you don't have to pull it out of its socket.
Please, it's so cold. I'm freezing.
Oh, it's you again, is it? Well, what is it this time?
Look, I got it.
Got what?
The Santa Claus suit. I thought you'd be happy.
Why should I be happy?
Because you said. You promised. You're not going to Welsh out. Aren't you even going to invite me in?
So you tricked me into a promise I should never have given.
I didn't either trick you.
Oh, no? Well, we'll see. Well, what are you standing out there for, child? Want us both to freeze to death in this drafty hall? Go on in the living room. I've had the window fixed.
Yes, sir, Mr. Brown.
Well, in you go. There's a fire here, and it's warmer.
It certainly is that. Thank you.
So you got the suit, huh?
Yes, sir.
How?
That's my business.
Didn't take you long to maneuver it once you found out I wouldn't fork out for it, huh?
That's right, Mr. Crown.
Well, sit down.
Thank you.
That all?
Excuse me?
I mean, can't catch your tongue, huh? You certainly had enough to say yesterday. Why so silent now?
I'm disappointed.
Why?
Because you're not happy, too. About the suit, I mean.
Why should I be?
I don't know, Mr. Crown. But I was just sure you would be.
Well, you're wrong. I'm not. I made a bargain, and I'll stick to it.
You don't have to, if you don't want to. I won't hold you to it. I mean, an unhappy Santa Claus wouldn't be much good. Do you want to?
Want to what? Be unhappy?
No, to get out of it.
I don't even know if I can get into it yet. Close your mouth. You look silly with it open. Oh, come on. The suit, I mean. The suit. Come on, let's see it.
I can't help it. I mean, it is a very difficult knot.
Oh, give me that stupid parcel. Stop fiddling. Can't spend all night on this. Oh, good Lord. In what ragtag did you find this flea-bitten outfit, huh? Huh?
I didn't either find it. I rented it.
Rented it? And just what did you pay for this threadbare collection of junk?
It cost 61 cents.
How much?
More, when you count my bus fare from here to Dawson City. $1.62 plus 61 cents. $2.23. My whole capital.
And just where did you get $2.23?
It was my tree money for Christmas, but I'd rather have a Santa Claus than a tree. So I broke my piggy bank, and I hate you.
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop. All right, I'll be your Santa Claus. Oh, I'll even try the suit on now if you like. Oh, if you still want me, that is. And I'll be a pretty gruff Santa Claus, but... Oh, shall I try the damn thing on?
Yes, please. After all, I spent the money. And something is better than nothing, isn't it?
Honesty, Jasper. The startling white honesty of a child. It's what you've been looking for, grasping for. Something to believe in again. And yet, too late. Too late. You're so conscious of the age in your body, the bile in your gut, your loneliness, that rheumatic elbow, that gnawing peptic ulcer, the tight place around your heart. Or is what you fear most, your mean and tiny soul.
And while Jasper thought these private thoughts, he was slowly putting on the Santa Claus suit, shaking his head at each tattered garment and worn accessory that went with it. But as he put each piece on, watching through Jenny's eyes, each separate piece seemed to shine suddenly as luxuriously rich and sumptuous as the velvet and ermine suit she had first seen. And the whiskers were pure white and thick and curly, and the boots were like the most expensive Moroccan leather. But the biggest miracle of all was in Jasper. Gone was the constriction from the heart. The nagging ache was no longer dragging at his stomach. The rheumatic arm was loose as a whip, and a magic sponge had wiped the lines from his face and the meanness from his heart.
Oh, super! Gloriosa! It fits! It fits!
Like a glove.
You look so different.
I feel so different. Do I look like Santa Claus?
Not look. You are. You are Santa. It's just perfect. Only...
Only what?
Do you think you could, you know, just a little, even smile?
Not only could I smile, I even think I could laugh again.
Oh, try, Mr. Crown, try.
You could call me Jasper, Jennifer.
And you can call me Jenny, Jasper.
Hello, Jenny Jasper.
Oh, Jasper, this is going to be a good Christmas.
Oh, Jenny, this is going to be the best Christmas ever.
Now, Mrs. Templeton, now do you think?
Yes. I was just coming to tell you, my dear child, that my husband said we are just about to commence. Mr. Crown's all dressed and ready.
The Reverend isn't teed off, is he?
Teed off?
I mean, his feathers aren't ruffled.
The Reverend is a saint, my dear. A perfect saint. Why on earth should he be angry?
Well, Grandmother said he always played Santa Claus. And if someone else wanted to be it, he'd be mad as a wet hen. And I said, why is a wet hen mad? And she said, because its feathers get ruffled.
Your grandmother, I should say your family in general, Jenny, doesn't quite understand a man of God. The minister, my beloved George, is only too happy to welcome back a sinner and a backslider like Mr. Crown. He would sacrifice any of his little pleasures for that. Oh, which reminds me.
Yes, ma'am?
For some reason or other, Mr. Crown says he has to see you before he comes in.
Oh, dear, I hope nothing's gone wrong. Because if Jasper's feathers are ruffled, this whole party could lay an egg.
I thought we'd never get rid of that old stork.
I told you he was an old stick.
In the mud. Now, what I need you for was to know if I look all right.
Come over to the chair. He has the wig all wrong, and the hat not down over your nose, not sort of jaunty to one side. And he didn't put the rouge on your cheeks, like this. Oh, and now you really look like something. Oh, Jasper, you look just beautiful.
And so do you, Jenny.
Oh, I don't matter. You're the star of this show. Now you go out there and twinkle.
Watch my stardust. Just call me Jasper, Jenny, and everything's all right.
And you just call me Jenny Jasper, and I know it's going to be. Here he comes, everybody, all the way from the North Pole.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
There it is. We have all been witness to the regeneration of Jasper Crown. A child's drive and belief has brought him back to the precious gift of present youth and laughter. But is it a true conversion or only a momentary aberration? Is the magic of this moment in the Christmas legend, in the suit and in Jenny? What happens if he loses either or both? I'll be back shortly with Act 3.
If you're a driver, if you're actually driving a car right now, consider this. 55 miles per hour saves you gasoline, and you know how much money that can cost you these days. 55 miles an hour saves you other troubles you don't need, like the worry about that car behind you with the flashing light on top. It's after somebody else. 55 also saves wear and tear on your car. But even more important than any of those things, 55 saves lives. Since 1974, when this national speed limit began, driving 55 miles an hour has been the single biggest factor in reducing highway deaths by more than 36,000 people. That's a lot of lives. So check your speedometer frequently. And remember, 55 saves lives. One of them could be you.
A public service of this station, the U.S. Department of Transportation, and the Advertising Council.
This is WBBM Chicago.
You're invited to Northwest Federal's grand opening celebration. It's another new savings center in Elmhurst, Elk Grove, with free gifts for savers and a Hawaiian vacation sweepstakes. Stop by any Northwest Federal Savings Center, including Elmhurst, Elk Grove, and choose from over 20 terrific gifts. Free or for special low prices with a deposit of $250 or more. Our new Elmhurst Savings Center has the same convenient hours as all our Northwest Federal Savings Centers, 63 hours a week. Come celebrate our Elmhurst grand opening. You could win one of 2 free trips to Hawaii. No transaction is necessary. Void where prohibited. Entrance must be 18 years of age or older. Contest ends March 8, 1979. Register today at any Northwest Federal location, including both our new locations at Elmhurst and Elk Grove.
It's Northwest Federal Savings Time, 63 hours a week.
One more time.
It's Northwest Federal Savings Time, 63 hours a week.
The church party was an exceptionally long one that year. And before it was over, Jasper Crown had indeed become Santa's alter ego. Many other gifts beyond those Jenny collected on Win the Booty were distributed. All of them from Jasper's generous purse. $50,000 to the church itself. Another $50,000 to the community chest. And many smaller but not less welcome gifts. Then, with the party over, Jasper, after a long last hug with Jenny before she went home, returned to his own house. But however cold the empty old mansion might seem, Jasper, in his suit of red, was warm and glowing inside. And his first trip was to the telephone.
Christmas greetings, hello?
Happy Christmas, my darling daughter.
Dad? Daddy?
Yes, Mary. You're a miserable, old, wretched, stupid father.
I can't believe it. I mean, you don't... Well, you never were stupid. And you certainly don't sound miserable, old, or wretched.
Well, I'm none of those, but I was stupid. How can I make up for it to you and Leon?
Make up? Oh, Daddy, I wish you could be with us for Christmas.
It's a little late for that, but I have another idea. I want to buy plane tickets for you and Leon to come visit me and ring in the new year with me.
Oh, Daddy.
A real good new year. I just called Robert, and he and his wife are coming home with the children. He's going to start up the mill again for me. It could be a real family reunion.
Daddy, I don't know what to say.
Oh, say yes. Please, just say yes.
Of course it's yes. Yes, yes, yes. Daddy, what happened? You sound, not only like yourself again, but I don't know. Like the spirit of Christmas, past and present.
And future. You'll see, I hope, when you come home. Mrs. Murchison, come in.
God and his angels be with me. I thought, Mr. Crown, for a moment you were the real article.
I can't claim that. I wish I could.
Oh.
But I feel as cheerful as him. What brings you here Christmas morning?
Well, now, sir, I felt real bad, particularly this time of year and all walking out on you. And here is Christmas Day, and you even without a dinner. So I was after bringing a little basket here, if you'd accept it.
I accept it from the heart, and with my thanks. But I'd like to ask you something in return.
What is that?
Will you come back to work for me, Murch? I need you.
Oh, you called me Murch. Mary's name.
She's coming home with her husband and her child-to-be for New Year's. And Robert and his family.
Oh.
They're moving back to open up the mill. I'll need you, Murch.
The Blessed Mary preserve us, so you will. And glad I'll be to come home.
Good.
But what is it that's come over you, Mr. Crown?
A child brought me this suit, Murch. And putting it on, I went back to the man I was. I don't want to question either because I believe them both to be a miracle. And I thank God to have found happiness and peace again. And pray to him it will not be taken away from me.
But every silver lining has a cloud. Every sky a rift. The worm nestles even in the heart of a rose. Jasper could not buy his happiness this fast, if ever, again. As she has been his angel, Jenny now becomes his nemesis.
Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning, Jasper. I didn't expect...
Me to answer the door? Well, I saw you coming up the walk.
I didn't mean that. I meant I didn't expect to see... I hate to say it, but I've come for the Santa Claus suit.
No. What do you want it for?
You'll have to take it off now, Jasper.
Why?
Because I signed the paper. I only rented it, and I'm responsible. I have to take it back. It's funny to see you out of the Santa Claus suit again, Jasper.
Oh, Jenny, I feel naked. It's the way I told you.
But that's silly. You aren't the way you were at all. You're nice now. The way I always knew you were underneath.
As long as I have the suit.
As long as you have you. That's what counts. My father says, oh, wait a minute. Tell the chauffeur. Here's the street. Oh, I was sure it was this one. Try the next. You watch one side, and I'll watch the other.
You're not watching, Jenny.
That's because I've already looked all the way down. It must be the next block. Why are you looking so sad again, Jasper?
Because I feel that way. Not even sad. Frightened, Jenny.
Why?
I like the way I am. I didn't like the way I was. And I'm afraid that if I let go of the suit, I'll go back to being what I was.
Never. Anyway, when we get to the shop, you can always buy it. Oh, tell the chauffeur to turn here, to the right.
Take the next right, Edwards. You sure this is it?
Yes, I know. Because there's the hat factory, and the cigar store, and the man who cooks spaghetti in the window of his shop. And right there next to it...
What? What, Jenny?
Mr. Edwards, stop and back up. See, Jasper? It's a dead-end street anyway. And there's that big school, and the storage company, and then the Chinese laundry. And right here between it and the man who cooks spaghetti in the window was...
Stop the car, Edwards. But, Jenny, there's nothing here but an empty lot.
But there can't be, because otherwise, then it would have to be a miracle.
Yes, that's what it would have to be.
But that's impossible.
Why?
Because miracles have to be about holy things, and they have to be very old.
Well, what's holier than Christmas? And it's pretty old.
I must have made a mistake. We'll just have to keep...
Little Jenny, listen to me. This is a funny thing to ask, but I ask it with all my heart. Don't let's go looking anymore, because we just might find him, and that's the thing I'm most afraid of.
Why?
Because then I'd have to give the suit back, and I might stop believing again.
Oh, is that the time? The right time?
Yes, what's wrong?
I've got to get back to Grandma's fast. I'm catching a plane today.
Edwards, home, step on it. A plane? Where to?
Pacific. Japan. Back to my father. He's so lonely. I'm all he has. But Grandmother was getting old, and we were both going to spend Christmas with her. Only that first-class son of a... I almost said it. Anyway, the Admiral said he couldn't spare my father because of the general situation. Oh, what am I going to do?
About your father?
No, about the suit.
Jenny, why don't you let me handle this? I'm here, and your father and you are going to be on the other side of the world.
How could you handle it?
Well, let me tell you, and we'll write it down as soon as we get home. Now, here's the advertisement, Jenny. I'll read it. If the owner of the Santa Claus suit rented to Jennifer Swallow will present his copy of the receipt to me, Jasper Crown, my address, phone number, and so on, he will be remunerated to whatever degree he deems fair and equitable, up to, but not to exceed, the sum of $1 million. This ad will appear daily till the first of the new year, and for the month of December of each succeeding year until the decease of the aforementioned Jasper Crown. Okay?
But Jasper, $1 million for that cruddy old suit?
I told you, it's worth that to me. Do you have to go, Jenny?
You shouldn't have to ask. You know how fathers feel about daughters.
Now I do.
You're
granddaughter's coming back to be with you. And your son, too. You'll never miss me.
Oh, I will that. Don't ever mistake it. But I'm finally realizing all this fuss about a suit I thought was a key that unlocked my heart. And it wasn't the suit at all. It was you.
I hate goodbyes. They're always sad. Why can't they be laughing goodbyes? Couldn't you laugh? Just a little?
You said that to me once before, remember?
And you laughed.
I don't think anything could make me laugh now.
I bet I could. Try it, Mr. Crown.
Try what?
That's not what you're supposed to say.
What am I supposed to say?
You're supposed to say, you can call me.
Jasper, Jenny.
And you can call me Jenny, Jasper.
Hello, Jenny Jasper.
Hello, Jasper, Jenny. Oh, Jasper, it's been such a good Christmas.
The best ever.
Jenny left, as she had to, and Jasper placed the ad in the paper. For 10 years, it appeared every December as Jasper lived out a full and happy life. His family, grandchildren, and his mill workers filling every Christmas for him. Until early this December, when he died, peacefully and quietly in his sleep, grateful and joyful to go join his beloved wife.
Hello, Mr. Crown. I've been proud of you these last 10 years.
I've felt at peace with myself. The suit is in that rosewood box on my bureau. And here is a blank check signed. Fill in what you want.
Oh, no. This is paid in full. I've more than had my rental. But I will take the suit back because it is Christmas again. And who knows? It may be very useful to someone else, eh? Now, excuse me, it's a busy season for me. Now, Dasher, now, Dancer, now, Prancer and Vixen.
Did you hear him, Jasper?
I did. It's been most of it. Such a good life. And the best of it you made. But I'm tired, Jenny. So tired. Say goodnight to me.
Good night, Jasper. I wish I could wish you Merry Christmas.
No, that's my little gift to you. Have as many and more as you brought me.
I love you, Jasper.
That's what Christmas is all about.
Good night, my extra special Santa.
An event or effect contrary to the established order of things. A wonder or a wonderful thing. Webster's definition of a miracle. I'll be back shortly.
Broadway musical. Girl Scouts need adult volunteers. Call your local Girl Scout council today. Girl Scouts part of being a girl, learning to be in a very big world, learning to care and learning to share, and seeking the answers tomorrow will bring.
special night of the year, there remains nothing to say in closing but God rest you, merry gentlemen and ladies, and a merry, merry Christmas to all. Our cast included Howard Da Silva, Jennifer Marlowe, Virginia Payne, E.V. Jester, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
That is the hope you mentioned?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you have no hope but to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
But couldn't I take them all at once and have it over?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third, when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate on your mantle clock. And for your own sake, remember what has passed between us. Passed between us.
Jacob, do not leave me yet.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
This season add both creativity, flair, and tasty variety to all your holiday get-togethers with help from Dominic's Produce Department. You'll always find the freshest fruits and vegetables at the lowest possible prices. For instance, surprise your family and friends with the homemade goodness of fresh banana cake pudding or scrumptious banana cream pie. Right now, golden ripe bananas are only 17 cents a pound. When you're involved in the spirited crackling conversations, crack up any of the 7 variety of holiday mixed nuts. They're only 99 cents a pound. While walking through Dominic's Produce Department, be sure to order a dazzling centerpiece for that holiday buffet table. You'll receive lasting enjoyment from the large selection of fresh and artificial plants and flowers. And don't forget about Dominic's gift baskets. They're filled with assorted fruits and nuts and cheese, and they make an ideal holiday gift for anyone on your list. Happy holidays from your friends at Dominic's, Chicagoland's most complete food stores.
CBS News, the next step in the search for peace in the Middle East is Breakfast in Brussels. I'm Mitchell Krauss reporting on the CBS radio network. The chief participants in the newest round of Mideast talks, U.S. Secretary of State Cyrus Vance, Egyptian Prime Minister Mustafa Khalil, and Israeli Foreign Minister Moshe Dayan, have a date for breakfast, the first time the 3 of them will get together at one time since arriving in Brussels. Michael Landers reports.
Secretary Vance hosts a breakfast for the Egyptian and Israeli ministers in a few hours' time as the U.S. tries to maintain the Middle East peace momentum. Even while Vance was flying here from his protracted SALT negotiations in Geneva, Foreign Minister Dayan and Prime Minister Khalil got together over dinner. It was the first meeting of Israeli and Egyptian negotiators in more than a month. Dayan said later the discussions tonight and those tomorrow will be mainly on technicalities of how to start new negotiations. Egyptian officials also insist there will be no formal bargaining here. Dayan indicated, however, he expects Secretary Vance to make some compromise proposals on major differences which have blocked an Israeli-Egyptian treaty. And Dayan said the possibility of a new Camp David-type summit is on the breakfast meeting agenda. Michael Landers for CBS News, Brussels.
There'll be no salt on the Christmas negotiating table. That story in a moment.
50 golden years. That's the record for CBS Radio Network affiliate WMMN in Fairmont, West Virginia. Yes, WMMN is marking its golden anniversary this weekend, celebrating 50 years of broadcasting service to West Virginia. And as they celebrate in Fairmont, all of us at the network send out very best wishes to General Manager Frank Lee and the entire staff of WMMN from CBS, your #1 radio network for news, programs, and sports. Here are
season's greetings from CBS Radio Sports' Lucky 13. Pat Summerall, Win Elliott, Jack Buck, Hank Strand, Jeff Scott, and Connie Alexander. And from Lindsey Nelson, Jim Kelly, Brent Musburger, Vin Scully, Ron Weber, Don Klein, and Spencer Ross. From the CBS Radio Network, best wishes for a happy holiday season.
The SALT talks are over in Geneva, with some differences still remaining between the U.S. and Soviet positions. Secretary of State Vance and Soviet Foreign Minister Gromyko failed to conclude an agreement Saturday, but both sides say progress was made and a treaty signing could still come soon. One thing they apparently agreed on was that the signing ceremony might be a summit meeting attended by Presidents Carter and Brezhnev, possibly in Washington. But when remains a mystery. If a treaty is signed, Senator Henry Jackson, who supported the first SALT agreement, says the Senate will, of course, look at SALT II very carefully before the ratification vote, especially when it comes to some of the specialized weapons the treaty is supposed to regulate.
You've got the problems of the backfire bomber. How do you know whether or not the plane is being deployed in such a way to reach the United States, and what kind of engines are they using? Those are difficult questions of verification, and you have to have a means of doing it.
In the past, the Soviet Union has always rejected any on-site verification procedure, insisting that compliance with the treaty be taken on the word of the governments involved. Fire broke out Saturday night at the 175-room Beach Harbor Motel in Miami Beach, Florida. Officials say the blaze was brought under control within about an hour, and no residents were hurt. The motel used to be called the Beachcomber. In Los Angeles, 2 runways have now been opened at the international airport, but there are still major flight delays in and out of the facility. Dense fog virtually closed the busy field for part of the day, one of the busiest travel days of the year. An American was killed in Iran Saturday, and an Englishman died Friday in Cambodia. The American was an executive of an American oil company. He was machine-gunned to death as he went to work in a southern Iranian oil city. And from Peking comes word that a British university lecturer was killed when a guest house he and 2 American journalists had been living in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, was attacked by 3 Cambodians. The Americans were unhurt. Now this.
This is Max Morath to tell you about Choice Magazine Listening, a free service for the blind and others with a sight handicap. 6 times a year, Choice Magazine Listening brings you, on phonograph records, 8 hours of selections from leading publications featuring writers like Kurt Vonnegut, Lillian Hellman, E.B. White, Art Buchwald, Saul Bellow, and many others. It's all free as a service of the nonprofit Lucerna Fund, and the special record player required is also free on loan from the Library of Congress. If loss of sight or other handicap deprives you or a friend of the joy of reading, Choice Magazine Listening can help you. For more information, telephone 516-883-8280. I'll repeat that, 516-883-8280. Or write Listening Box 10, Port Washington, New York, 11050. That's Listening Box 10, Port Washington, New York, 11050.
West Germans are opening their homes to GIs this Christmas to help Americans in the military service there get through the holidays with the reduced value of the dollar. U.S. Army European Headquarters says about 4,200 GIs will be partaking of the traditional German Christmas dinner Monday. Thousands more have been invited back by families they spent Christmas dinner with last year. And in one German town, local residents provided food baskets for 30 needy GIs. Mitchell Krause, CBS News.
Chicago's weather for the remainder of this evening, cloudy with rain changing to snow. During the morning, the low around 30 degrees, and for Sunday, snow ending, and Weather Command has predicted an accumulation of between 1 and 2 inches. And for Monday, increasing cloudiness, more cold weather predicted for Chicago, and again, we could see some snow. Our lakefront 42 degrees, Midway has the same reading, O'Hare 39, the humidity 58%. Winds are southeasterly at 12 miles per hour, and that explains the warming trend of the metro area. The barometer 29.81.
Give to the Wreath of Hope. Send your contributions to Bell Federal Savings, Monroe and Clark Street, Chicago 60603. News Radio 78, WBBM, Chicago.
It's 11:30 in Chicago, and these are the headlines on News Radio 78. I'm Marvin Mullins reporting. Quadruplets were born today in Chicago to a couple who already had 4 boys. The quads, 2 boys and 2 girls, are all at least 4 pounds, and all are reported in stable condition. Arizona Senator Barry Goldwater blasted President Carter today for recognizing China and severing relations with Taiwan. Goldwater said Carter dishonored the U.S. and didn't negotiate any assurance for Taiwan security. Terrorists in Iran have killed an American oil executive from Colorado. Paul Grimm is the first American to be killed in the recent anti-Shah, anti-American violence. Authorities say mechanical problems may have caused a bus to plunge off an embankment Saturday about 200 miles north of Mexico City. 16 people were killed and 14 others were injured. And Secretary of State Vance flew to Brussels today to mediate discussions between the Egyptian Prime Minister and the Israeli Foreign Minister after making progress toward a salt agreement in talks with the Soviet Foreign Minister in Geneva. And those are the headlines. We'll have details of those and other stories this morning on News Radio 78 after this message.
Miss Dior, the classic fragrance by Christian Dior. Memorable, enticing, its rippling scent tantalizing the senses. Miss Dior perfume, let its bouquet envelop you. French roses open to release the richness of their fragrance. Jasmine, pure and delicate, embroiders the scent. Add the coolness of oak moss, the lushness of gardenia, the sensuality of ambergris, and for warmth, patchouli, the heartbeat of Miss Dior perfume. Glorious. Miss Dior by Christian Dior. A gift of fragrance from the heart.
Discover Miss Dior fragrance at Carson, Peary, Scott & Company.
Dominic's Deli Specials are featuring old-fashioned country-style sliced bacon for just 98 cents a pound. Shop and save at Dominic's, Chicagoland's most complete food stores. A joyful Christmas has come to a Romeoville couple who are now the proud parents of quadruplets born today at Rush Presbyterian St. Luke's Medical Center. The 4 new additions are reported in stable condition, with each weighing between 4 and 5 pounds. The mother, Mrs. Linda Walski, 26, is reported in excellent condition. The father, no doubt, is still in a state of disbelief. The Walskis also have 4 other children. As final note, the soaring inflation rate is sure to touch the Walski family in coming years, but as they say, you can't argue with Mother Nature. In a broadcast speech prepared for delivery on CBS today, Arizona Republican Senator Barry Goldwater accused President Carter of dishonoring the nation and using powers he doesn't have in recognizing China and ending a defense treaty with Taiwan. Time magazine has named Chinese Vice Premier Deng Xiaoping its Man of the Year. China reportedly has obtained 2 Soviet-built MiG-23 jet fighters from Egypt, possibly to build its own copies. Hong Kong is barricading the South China Sea to prevent a freighter crammed with more than 2,700 Vietnamese refugees from putting its human cargo ashore in the British Crown colony. Secretary of State Vance ended strategic arms limitation talks with Soviet officials in Geneva today, then hastened to Brussels to discuss possible resumption of Mideast treaty talks with top officials from Egypt and Israel. Some progress is reported in the SALT talks, but no concrete developments yet in the Mideast situation. South Africa has told the UN that Southwest Africa's new leaders are ready to accept the UN plan for creation of an independent Namibia under international supervision. The CIA says Cuba's expanding economic and military role in Black Africa is making many other governments suspicious of the intentions of foreigners in their countries. Nicaragua's southern border with Costa Rica was closed again today after the second attack in the area in 2 days by Sandinista guerrillas. Pope John Paul II told the communist mayor of Rome Saturday the Vatican and City Hall share responsibility for making the internal city a better place for people to live. It looks like an uneasy Christmas weekend for Cleveland Mayor Dennis Kucinich and Tennessee Governor Ray Blanton. Kucinich is preparing to go before the city council on the day after Christmas to put finishing touches on his plan to have Cleveland taxpayers save the city from bankruptcy. Blanton is embroiled in a parole for pay scandal that could result in long prison terms for some of his top aides if guilt is established. A steel bridge declared safe just a few days ago by Scranton, Pennsylvania city officials collapsed and plunged into the Lackawanna River today. 4 persons were injured when 2 cars and an oil truck plunged into the water. A bus went out of control 225 miles north of Mexico City today, crashed into a ravine, and killed 16 persons. Police today found 3 more bodies buried under the Chicago suburban home of a man suspected of the sex murders of as many as 32 young men. The total now stands at 5, and the digging has only begun. On the brighter side of the Chicago news, as we indicated earlier in this newscast, quadruplets were born today to Keith and Linda Walski of suburban Romeoville. All 4 babies, 2 boys and 2 girls, are reported in stable condition. 11:36 in Chicago.
Excuse me, you looking for wallpaper? The place you ought to go to is Plywood, Minnesota.
Christmas is here but once each year. Christmas seals work the year round to fight lung diseases, smoking, and air pollution. One of the best